Today we will be talking about finding the probability of simple events. A simple event is one outcome or a collection of outcomes. An outcome is any of the possible results of an action. A probability is the chance of an event happening. So to find the probability of an event, we will take the number of favorable outcomes and divide that by the number of possible outcomes. So to help you remember, the number of favorable outcomes is talking about what we want. So if I were to say, what is the probability of rolling a 4 on a number cube? Our favorable outcome would be how many times the number 4 appears on a number cube. So the number of favorable outcomes is what we want. The number of possible outcomes is the total. So going back to our example of a number cube, we know that the number of possible outcomes, or the total numbers on a number cube, is 6. Let's take a look at example 1. What is the probability of rolling a 4 on a number cube? So to find that, we will take our favorable outcomes divided by the total possible outcomes. So to find the favorable outcomes, think about the number of 4s that appear on a number cube. So the numbers that appear on a number cube are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. How many 4s appear on a number cube? We know that there's 1 4. So our favorable outcome is 1, and we will put that over our total numbers on a number cube, which is 6. So our probability of rolling a 4 on a number cube is 1 over 6. Let's take a look at example number 2. What is the probability of rolling an even number on a number cube? To find the probability of even numbers, we will take the even numbers on a number cube and divide that by the total numbers on a number cube. So this is our favorable outcome, and this is our total possible outcomes. So let's write out the numbers on the number cube. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and identify the even numbers. We know 2, 4, and 6 are the even numbers on a number cube. Think about how many even numbers appear on a number cube, and that will be our favorable outcome. And we know that there are 3 even numbers. And so we take 3 divided by the total numbers, which is 6. Remember, when you're working with probabilities, you always reduce the fraction to its simplest form. And so when we take 3 divided by 6, we can reduce that to 1/2. Example number 3 asks us to find the probability of rolling an odd number on a number cube. Again, we will take the number of odd numbers on a number cube divided by the total numbers. So on our number cube, we have numbers 1 through 6, and the odd numbers are 1, 3, and 5. We know that there are 3 odd numbers, so that is our favorable outcome, and we will divide that by the total numbers on a number cube, which is 6. Again, it's 3 divided by 6. Remember to reduce to its simplest form, and that is 1/2. Go ahead and try example 4 on your own, and we will go over the answers in class. Example 4 is asking you to find the probability of rolling a 4 or a 6 on a number cube. Let's take a look at example number 5. Example 5 is asking you to determine the probability of rolling a prime number on a number cube. Go ahead and list out the numbers that are on the number cube, and then we will identify the prime numbers. Remember, a prime number is a number who has factors of 1 and itself. So our prime numbers on a number cube will be 2, 3, and 5. To find the probability of rolling a prime number on a number cube, we will take our favorable outcomes, which is the number of prime numbers. We know there are 3 prime numbers, and we will divide that by the total number on our total numbers on the number cube, and we know there are 6 total numbers. And so the probability of rolling a prime number on a number cube is 3 divided by 6, and when we reduce that, we get 1/2. It is important to note that outcomes occur at random if each outcome occurs by chance. Let's take a look at example 6. Amy, Ginger, David, and Alex are playing Monopoly. Each player rolls a number cube to decide who goes first. The lowest number goes first. If Ginger rolls a 4, David rolls a 5, and Alex rolls a 3, what is the probability that Amy will go first? So the total possible outcomes that are listed here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these numbers represent the possible numbers that can be rolled on a number cube. We know that in order for Amy to go first, she has to roll the lowest number. We know Ginger has already rolled a 4, David has rolled a 5, and Alex has rolled a 3. So in order for Amy to go first, she has to roll a number that is lower than 3. In order for Amy to go first, she would have to roll a 1 or a 2, since 1 and 2 are lower than 3. So to find the probability that Amy will go first, we will take our favorable outcomes divided by the total possible outcomes. So our favorable outcomes would be 2. Since there are 2 possible numbers she can roll, she could either roll a 1 or she could roll a 2. And we divide that by 6, which is our total possible numbers on a number cube. Remember to reduce this fraction, so 2 will go into 6 3 times, so your reduced fraction would be 1/3. So the probability that Amy will go first is 1/3. Go ahead and try example 7 on your own. We will go over this in class. Example 7 is asking you to find the probability of each event given this information. This table is talking about the brass instruments that are found in a band. Remember, to find the probability, you will first have to figure out the total number of instruments, and that will help you find the probability for each event listed here. We will now talk about complementary events. Complementary events talk about the possibility of an event happening and the possibility that that event will not happen. The probability that an event will happen can be any number from 0 to 1. So let's take a look at this number line. A probability of 0 or 0% states that it is impossible for the event to happen. A probability of 1/2 or 50% states that the chances of the event happening or not happening are equally likely. And a probability of 1 or 100% states that the event is certain to happen. So if you had a probability between 0 and 25%, it is very unlikely that the event will occur. But if you had a probability between 50 and 75%, it is likely that the event will occur. So let's take an example to see when it is impossible for an event to happen. So if I had a 6-sided number cube, so we know that a 6-sided number cube has the numbers 1 through 6 written on it. And if I were to ask you to find the probability that you roll a blue, that the that event, the chances of that event occurring would be 0, since there is no blue on a 6-sided number cube. If you had a 6-sided number cube with 1 on each side, and I ask you to find the probability that you roll a 1, you know that event is certain to happen, because no matter what side the number cube lands on, it will always be a 1. So there's a 100% chance that the probability of rolling a 1 the sum of the probabilities of complementary events is 1. So this means that the probability of the event happening plus the probability of the event not happening would equal 1. Let's take a look at example 8 to understand this concept. Amy is bowling with 2 of her friends. What is the probability that Amy will not be the first to bowl? Our first step is to find the probability that Amy will go first. So to find the probability that Amy will go first, we think about our favorable outcomes and divide that by our total outcomes. So our favorable outcome is what we want. We want Amy to go first. So the chance of Amy going first is 1. And our total outcomes are 3. Since there are 3 total friends that are bowling. There's Amy and then 2 of her friends. So that's 3 total. So the probability Amy will go first is 1/3. But we are trying to find the probability that Amy will not go first. So to do that, we will take 1 minus 1/3. Remember, when you're subtracting a fraction from a whole number, you have to find the common denominator, and we'll do that over here to the side. So 1 minus 1/3. You can rewrite the whole number as 1 over 1 as a fraction. We have to change 1 over 1 into 3/3. And to do that, we multiply the denominator and the numerator by 3. This will give you a common denominator of 3. So when we do that, we have 3 divided by 3 minus 1 divided by 3. Since you have a common denominator, you can go ahead and subtract the numerators of the fraction, which gives you 3 minus 1 over 3, and 3 minus 1 is 2 divided by 3. So the probability that Amy will not go first is 2 divided by 3, or 2/3. Go ahead and find the probability of not rolling a 5 or a 6 on a number cube. So try example 9 on your own, and we will go over that in class. Remember that you will first find the probability of rolling a 5 or a 6. You will then subtract that probability from 1 to figure out the probability of not rolling a 5 or a 6.